Om is an ancient word derived from the old Meierian language, which was long since lost on earth. The actual meaning of the acronym Om is disclosed when the full significance of both letters are revealed by an explanation of the two words whose first letters are the O and the M, Omfalon Murado. When abridged as O and M, these two words Omfalon Murado possess the identical, indeed, an even greater tonal harmony significance than when the two are fully pronounced as Omfalon Murado. For this reason, the abbreviation OM was used and became the traditional form. The ancient Lyrians referred to their writings about the truth, the Book of Truth, also as the OM, Omfalon Murado, life's navel or the navel of life. The text, entitled OM, incorporates all creational teachings, that is to say, the book holds all teachings of wisdom and life as a written record. Voice of the Aquarian Age, number 50, OM. Kanon 9. In the name of creation, the wise, the righteous. Praise be creation, which created the heaven and earth and gave birth to the darkness and light. Praise be creation, because it conceived of and created humanity and has set him an evolutionary goal. And it is creation that exists in everything, in the heavens, in the stars and the galaxies, in the earth and in all the multitudes of life, so that everything exists according to its nature. And it is recognizable in all and in everything, internally and externally. And it has determined the goal of life and the final goal of the being * for all that creeps and flies and for all that lives and exists. But the earth human doubts this, and those who are ignorant and autocratical and stupid set themselves above it. They do not know reverence and respect, nor truth, nor love, and neither knowledge nor wisdom. They are prisoners of themselves, and full of unrighteousness, ill humor, and selfishness and self-pity. And they are entrapped in their egoism and in their erroneous and false thinking. They set up others as equals to creation, and therewith temple worship and adoration, with idols and the gods, both living and dead. And they misrepresent them as having the power of creation, and they are fearful before them. And they set people above creation, who they worship and adore as despots, and they are named God by the earth humans. And they falsely attribute power to their gods and idols, and they set them up as equal to creation. But creation is creation, and it alone is true strength, love, knowledge, wisdom, and omnipotence. And there is no other creation next to it on its universe, and therefore no idols and no gods. And those who deny creation, and those who set next to it other powers, gods and idols, receive no signs from it. It is the ones who are turned away from creation, the seeing blind, who are those who nowhere see a sign of its existence, neither in all the multitudes that live, nor internally or externally. A sign of one of the signs of the truth also does not come to them. And they wander through life as the unknowing, far from truth, and stupid and blind. Knowingly they turn themselves away from truth, because their life of depravity, greed and addiction, and their life of apparent effortlessness, pleasures, egoism, selfishness and greed for power, is closer to them than the life of truth and the evolution towards being. They will not see that they turn themselves away from true life, which, in that form alone, leads to being. They reject the truth, as already did the generations before them, as the truth was brought to them. Indeed, news of the truth is brought to them, as already it was to all generations before them. And again they reject and deny the truth, and it would be that they accept no consideration and no understanding. And furthermore they pray to their gods and idols of falseness, and furthermore they bring worship to them. And furthermore they reject and deny creation, and therewith the truth, and therefore love, thus knowledge and wisdom. But they have been newly informed about the truth, that they laughingly mock. Yet their shameful deeds do not remain unpunished. because they bring punishment and destruction upon themselves, as have many generations before them. They determine the punishment for themselves for their abuse and for their mocking and denial of creation and truth and love. But their punishment lies in early death and in fear thereof, and it lies in sickness and war, in strife and hate, in ill humor and failure, and in pain, destruction and annihilation. And they bring about all these evil things in themselves and around themselves, because they deny creation, and because they deny truth, and because they deny love, and because they deny wisdom, and because they deny knowledge, and because they deny life, and because they deny being. They who are fallible, they are people to whom a home on earth is given, and every possibility for life, and evolution towards being. Yet since ancient times they did not obey creation's laws and directives, although the truth was given to them through the Swish and through the prophets. They made a mockery of creation, and of its laws and directives, and therefore of life. They had to thereby bear the consequences of their reprehensible deeds. They destroyed themselves, and they annihilated their generation. They died in their thousands, in painful deaths, in manifold terror and horror. And new generations were born, yet they did the same as the generations before them, and they also annihilated themselves. They found self-annihilation through the false life that they led. And they found self-annihilation because they denied creation and its laws and directives. And it happens again in the same way, and the same way in an endless sequence, up until today. But from ancient times until today the swish of the earth humankind sent them down the scriptures and the word of truth, hewn in stone and written on hide and parchment, and the prophet gave the same. And the scriptures and the word of truth were written down through the prophets, and taught through them among the people of earth, so they would be known. And they could feel the scriptures of the words of the truth about the creation and its laws and directives with their hands. And they could read the scriptures with their eyes. And they could hear the spoken word of the scriptures with their ears. Yet they did not feel them, and they did not see them, and they did not hear them, because they closed their minds against the truth, and they closed all their senses, and therefore they closed their eyes and their ears. And they denied creation and its laws and directives, and they therefore denied the Swish and the prophets. And they remain unknowing and deniers of the truth. And they abuse the Swish with lies and sorcery, and they do likewise with the prophet, and make attempts on his life. And they abuse all prophets and persecute them, in order to seize them, and in order that they would die an agonizing death. A life of blasphemy would be closer and more fulfilling to them than the true life towards being. And furthermore they live in blasphemy in endless sequence, up until today. Through the prophet, in the new age, the Swish must newly send down the scriptures of the true words, so that it is written down once again by the prophets of the new age and would be taught among the humankind, so that, in endless succession, the human of the earth would be pregnant with the truth and be obedient to it, and so that the prophet would be recognized and the teachings of the Spirit would find a following.